Porterhouse steak and eye fillet steak, where does it come from? Essentially, they start as a T-bone, which is off the hind quarter, which is off your, say, middle to lower part of your spine. It's essentially half a spine and the muscles around that. What we got here is we got a big grain-fed boy, came Cryovac bag was busted. The outside looks a bit manky, but the inside, it was fresh as, like it was killed, 5 days before we got it. And the inside looks golden. So, we're going to trim up all this crap, we're going to get rid of all the green, we're going to clean up this, lovely bit of meat, and we'll see what it looks like on the inside. So, we marked out the top of the strip, or your porterhouse, or your sirloin steak, whatever you want to call it, and now we're going under the vertebrae here and removing this piece of tenderloin, or eye fillet, whatever you want to call it. So, going along the vertebrae there, just scrape, nice and easy. I just did that last one a little bit hard so I could see where this rib was. I wanted to see the whole surface of this rib so I know where to mark and how deep it is. So, gauging that, we can see, there we are, perfect, freeze that up. You want to free up the rib because the rest of the bones here are quite short and that rib is quite long. So, if you can free that up, right along the top of these vertebrae, then you can sort of stand it up on its end and pull the strip back. When you're pulling it back away from that bone, you can sort of get just enough angle. So you're just pulling. You can get just enough of an angle there that you can tilt your knife in and just go around the tip of it without digging too much into the meat. If you don't, and you want to cut straight down, you're going to cut your steak in half, which we don't want to do. We want to work with it, you don't want to work against it. So pulling. And as we're pulling, we're just cutting along the vertebrae there. All those feather bones down the bottom, which we marked at the start. We marked that at the start so we don't have to turn it over and do it again. You know what I mean? Like, I'd rather start at one point, and if I'm never going to get back to that point, perfect. I don't like double handling. So there we go, marking that off nice and easy, and we'll trim that out later. There's a little bit of sausage trim on that. Once we suss it out, we don't want to put anything bad in sausages, so we'll suss it out first, and we'll get rid of all this. You can see it's got a little bit of a touch of green to it, but all in all, the meat is red and gorgeous. So we're going to clean all of this up and go from there. So scraping that off there. And one more thing we got on this steak before we start cutting it. Obviously, we've got to trim the ends, and then you got that big chain of sinew on top. So that's a nice simple one. We'll flip it up, scratch a knife in it. I already took most of it off because it looked a bit burnt from the dip tank. So cutting that off there, and then we'll run it back towards ourselves, just removing a bit of that gristle. And then down the bottom here, there was a lot of fat down the bottom. We don't need that much, really. So our customers don't like a lot of fat. Squaring it off, and now everything's trimmed up. All the surface is trimmed up. Have a look at that. What an absolute ripper of a steak. That realistically was going to go, nowhere else. I could get a credit, and, the supplier would then just chuck it out. And honestly, I hate wasting good meat. Like, if something's good, something's good. I don't want to waste it just because it can't be used for what it is. Like, butchery is about breaking things down and, using things for what they are. You know what I mean? So, trimming it up and then, cutting these out is absolutely gorgeous. Beautiful meat. Get rid of those faces. We're not going to use that. We're going to trim everything pretty hard. I'll go around after this video and I'll trim all that top fat as well. So, we'll just take a little bit of excess here, but I'll go around afterwards and I'll trim the top of it all. And along the bottom, if there's anything left, I saw just on the video there was a little bit of a speck on the bottom, but I would have trimmed that further on as well. So, this eye fillet. You got the chain here. You don't even need You don't even need a knife for the chain. You just rip it. Nice and easy. You can get your thumb in there and just pull. So just clean that fat off here. Looks like this porterhouse, T-bone, whatever you want to call it, they cut it a bit short. Looks like there's probably, I'm going to say, they could have gone an extra maybe 2 inches, 3 inches on the big end, because this eye fillet's, about three quarters of what it should be. Trimming all the fat off, we'll flip it over, and just checking the bottom side there's a big lump of fat, and there it is. What a humdinger of a fillet. I actually took this home. So I took 3 of these steaks home for dinner. It looks pretty good. So you get rid of all the fat. I feel it's nice and easy. Just cut it down straight. It's small items, so you don't need a big knife. You can just do it with your boning knife. Look at the marbling in that. So this was listed as an MB2, and it's pretty good. It's pretty good. We're going to see if we can get a mignon out of that. Obviously can't. Bit too gristly. Fuck it off. That's the video, guys. I'll catch you in the next one. Bit of eye fillet, bit of strip, how to debone it. See ya. Peace.